Y'all, it is time to get our pepper party started. And I've taken a little different approach this year, so let me show you what I've decided to do and why. I've taken a good potting mix and I have sifted it to make it a little finer through a 1/8 inch hardware cloth sifter that my husband made for me. And then I've pre-moistened everything real good, and I'm gonna fill up these trays almost full with the potting mix, and I like to top off just the first little 1/2 inch or so with a seed starting mix. I mentioned this before in my onion video, but the reason I do this, in case you missed that, is I like to start on the bottom with a good nutrient-rich potting mix, and then on the top layer I use a soft seed starting mix so that the seeds have a soft, loose medium to germinate in, and then as the roots grow, they have the nourishment that they need. So here is the seed starting mix, and I'm just gonna layer it here on the top, and then we'll come back in and plant our pepper seeds in here. I have soaked the pepper seeds in water for 48 hours. And the reason I've done that is, if you've ever tried to start peppers, there is sometimes a really slow germination rate. They like to take their time getting started, and I wanted to try to speed that process up. So I've soaked the pepper seeds for about 48 hours. The thought process behind this is that the ones that sink are supposed to be viable seeds, and the ones that float will probably not germinate. So to save time, or my time experiment is, we're going to just plant the ones that sank. So I'm labeling everything real good here because I tend not to do that well enough. This is a home saved seed, and it says from Market Pepper. This is one my friend Christy gave me. So we will see. I am planting multiple seeds in each cell, and hopefully we'll get more than one germinate, and we can just separate them out later. This next pepper seed is a Craig's Grande jalapeno. It's a good variety of jalapeno. I like it. We use a lot of jalapenos in our preserving and our cooking. I have some really cool ways I like to use them. As you see here, I'm scooping off the floating peppers and discarding them. And then we're only going to plant the ones that sank. This is a orange jalapeno. I thought that would be a nice addition. And another pepper we preserve a lot are sweet banana peppers. And this is a Lola sweet banana pepper. And I'm excited about that. It's supposed to be a pretty good producer. I don't plant a lot of hot peppers. I plant the jalapenos. I like a cayenne. And that's about it. The cayenne is usually for a medicinal purpose or to have just like some red pepper flake. This is an Advarsky, and I'm really looking forward to growing a lot of those. It is a sweet, mild pepper with a nice thick flesh, and they are supposed to be really good producers, so we will see. I am growing an orange bell pepper and a red bell pepper. I'm not going to plant any green bell peppers this year because you can pick these young and they are green bell peppers. It just takes them a long time on the vine to turn to the orange and the red. And this is my all-time favorite. It's the habanada, and it is not hot, and it is almost a fruity flavor, and I love it. And I'm also growing a paprika pepper, and my plans for that are to smoke them, dry them, and make my own smoked paprika powder. So next we'll get these watered real well and covered up, and then we'll pop back in on these in a few days and see how they're germinating and if our little soaking trick worked. So our soil underneath was good and moist, and now we're just going to mist the top real well with water. We're going to cover them, and I've placed them on a heat mat to keep that temperature up so we get a good germination. This is the heat mat that I purchased from Amazon. I needed a few more, so I got me 2 more, and I will link the ones I got below. These are pretty much the same thing I've ordered in the past, and they work well for me. They come rolled up like this. I just rolled them once in the opposite direction, and they flattened out really fast, really good. So these just plug in. You can also buy them with a thermostat regulator. I have one, but I never use it. This usually works just fine, and it fits your average seed tray. And what I do is, because mine are sitting on an open rack, I put a piece of cardboard under it to insulate it. And it does say that in the instructions for you to insulate to get better like heat absorption and not lose as much heat out the bottom. But you make your choice about what you want to put underneath, but I use cardboard and I'm okay with that. And you can see here on my grate, that keeps it from losing the heat underneath. So I put the peppers on here and I covered them up really good, and I am real time taking this off to see what we have. And I was so surprised because this is just 6 days. Now, not all of them have germinated, but they have germinated really fast for a pepper. So I'm going to put these back on the heat mat, and we will check on them in about a week. And like I promised in the last video, we're going to check in on the onions. They need a haircut, and they are doing great. So we'll check back on these next week. And before we go look at the superstars, the sweet potato slips, next videos we're going to be starting all the things, some herbs, veggies, and a garden clean out video coming up as well, and probably getting some things planted out soon. So the sweet potatoes, look at them. Look at them. Just look at them. They, like 2 days go by and you look and it's almost like you can see them growing before your eyes. But next video, I'd say we'll be cutting some of these, and I can show you how you transfer them to water and let them start rooting. It's so fun. Now the slow pokes are slow poking, but they're coming along. That's a little sprout, and we've got one here on the side right there, and one right here. Once it starts, it goes really fast. And the one in the water, he's just a couple weeks old, but he's getting some roots started and a little sprout starting there. I thank you all for hanging out with me. My name is Loanna. This is Little Bit of Homestead. And go check out last video with some of the onions and the sweet potato starts. And I'll see you next week.